Now, are you ready to enter the chaos of war as a knight, a Viking, or a deadly samurai, or the all-new Chinese faction? Very exciting. I know our next guest is. Let's welcome Ubisoft Creative Director Roman Campos Oriola for an exclusive peek at For Honor. How's it going?
Really good.
Well done on the conference. That was very exciting.
Very
we're
much.
doing a handshake now.
Yes.
Pat. All right, let's talk about the new Chinese faction. Very exciting coming to For Honor. 4 all new classes. So what can we expect?
So with the Wulin faction, which is the actual name of that faction, we have 4 fighters. We have the Vanguard, which is called Shidu. He's fighting with a big sword that is called Dao, that has a really thick blade. Then we have the Shaolin monk with a lot of kung fu style fighting, and the staff is really deadly and really swift and fast. We have the Nuxia with hook sword, and she has some really specific moves where she traps the weapon of the opponent, some new effects of fight. And then we have Wan Yu using massive lance called the Guandao, is the old master. He has some pretty good tricks, but that we'll see later.
So we're going to come back to the gameplay of those 4 heroes, but let's just get kind of a narrative brief on what is happening with this new faction, as well as the land of For Honor. What is happening narratively in this?
So basically, 1,000 years ago, there has been that massive cataclysm, and that was treated in the campaign of For Honor and the type of impact it had on knights, Vikings, and samurai. But that cataclysm was across the world. And in China, that cataclysm triggered a civil war. That civil war lasted for hundreds of years. And there is one faction, the Wulin, that is starting to get a hold on China, but they haven't yet won the fight. But still, some of the fighters of that faction are moving away from China and getting into the world of For Honor.
So For Honor is an extremely brutal game. The executions are extremely fun to watch. Tell me about the combat style of the Grandmaster you mentioned. He kind of looks like an older Guan Yu with the long staff. And what can we expect his playstyle to be like?
So his playstyle is, he has some really specific moves. Basically, all of his attacks are zone attacks. So they have that extreme range, but they cost a ton of stamina. But he can mix them up, and he's really deadly with that. The trick is that he has a rest stance with down on the right stick, where a little bit like the Nobushi, he goes backward with a small dodge, and you can hold that stance. And in that stance, he can regenerate his stamina and mix up with other moves. So the whole fight style with that character, it's mixing up zone attack, baiting you, dodge back, reset your stamina, and continue your chains.
We have a new character with the Broadsword, which is kind of a traditional Chinese fighter in armor. What is his play? A little bit more agile, or kind of a warrior archetype?
Yeah, he's the vanguard of the Chinese. It's the class, the role is called the Chendi. And he's kind of like a little bit a mix between a Kensei and a Shinobi.
Ooh, 2 of my favorites.
Yeah, he has the playstyle of the Kensei with a lot of mix-ups, but he has the dodge of the Shinobi. He's able to cancel any recovery with a dodge. He's able to feint some of his attacks, so feint them into a dodge. So he's really versatile. It's really a strong character.
So let's speak about what has been done in For Honor since the game launched. Obviously, you've added.
You have the next 10 hours? Or?
Yeah, we have maybe 10 minutes, but so let's talk first. I think something that people were asking for straight away was dedicated servers.
Yes.
Has that been added to For Honor for those who've not been keeping up?
Yes, so we have added the dedicated server last February, first on PC and then on PS4 and Xbox One, so now it's running across all the platforms. It made the 4v4 gameplay much smoother. No more host migration, no more deconnection, etc. No, it's really the For Honor, how it was meant to be played. Now you really have that experience.
And you've been adding content as well. Talk me through your expansions. For the player who hasn't played since launch, in terms of the roster, how many characters are we up to now, and what are some of your favorite additions?
So since launch, we've added 4 new seasons. So in the first 3 seasons, we've added 2 new characters every time. So we've added the first season, the Centurion and the Shinobi. Second season, a Gladiator and an Highlander with a massive claymore. And in the third season, we've added a Shaman, kind of really dirty and tricky character. One of my favorites, and the Aramusha, like kind of the standard running archetype with 2 katanas. And then earlier this year, along with the release of the dedicated server, we've started to revamp and improve some of our vanilla characters, because through post-launch and working on new DLC character, we really improved the way we're creating fighters. and the play style of those characters. And so now we're bringing all the other characters up to par with the new characters. And then every week we have new content, new execution, new outfits, new effects, new emotes.
And you also had a very large balance pass that you kind of publicized recently.
Yes.
How has the balance process been thus far? Do you feel like you're finally in a state that is very competitive?
Yes. So basically, starting this year in February, we stopped releasing new characters for a while, and we focus in revamping and improving our balance. Basically, our balancing work in For Honor, of course, at first there's a work of game design where we look at data and we have all those different data tracking tools where we see win-loss ratio based on the ranking of the players, etc. But also we have a very active community of really top players, and we do workshops with them. We fly them to Montreal. They get to play new characters, play their balancing stuff, and then we have a Discord channel with them, where any designer on the team can ask them questions and exchange with those guys. Oh, what happened if I had 100 milliseconds in your mind in that character, and have this type of discussion. And then when we actually make changes on our side, we can push them directly private version where they can test those changes and directly gives us feedback.
So this is where For Honor is now, but let's talk about where it's going to be in the future. There's a new mode coming out called Breach, which I think is core to just the medieval fantasy of sieging a castle. So talk me through what Breach is.
Breach, really, it's the attacking and defending castle fantasy. It's you have one team of attackers that needs to move their army inside the castle and kill the lord of the castle, and one team of defenders that is trying to prevent you from destroying their gate. So they will try to destroy your battering ram, they will use their archers, they will use boiling oil, they will use ballistas to try to stop the attacking team and destroy their battering ram.
How are you queuing into this mode? Is this something that is just a gameplay mode that is randomly going to pop up in a queue, or are you specifically choosing that you want to play this?
So on For Honor, we have the world map, which is the faction war, where knights, Vikings, and samurai army are clashing, and one front of the faction war is going to be the Breach mode. So you will be able to directly select Breach mode playlist and contribute to the battle at those positions.
Now let me ask you, this might have just been something that popped into my head, but it looked at the end of Breach, there was this massive boss. What's the deal with that?
It's the Lord of the Castle. So basically, in order to conquer the castle as an attacker, not only you have to breach the gates of the castle, but then you need to kill the Lord. And it's a massive NPC, he has ton of HP, he has some really powerful attacks, and so the defending team will try to protect that guy, and they can heal him, they can buff him, and the attacking team are just going to try to kill him. And if you successfully kill him, you win the game.
So we're looking at a little bit of this breakthrough gameplay right now, checking out this castle siege, this disgusting execution, wonderful.
Of the Chendi character.
And so what are the victory conditions for both teams?
So, attackers victory, it's really easy. Breach the 2 gates, kill the king, you win. Defender, either you destroy the battering ram, or attackers have a limited number of respawn. So if you deplete all of their respawn tickets, you also win the match.
Wonderful. So we spoke about 2 archetypes coming in the new DLC, but let's speak about the one with the hooked blades that had this nasty execution where she kind of sat on the person and just poked a little hole in their throat. No big deal.
The Nuxia. So the concept, the backstory behind the Nuxia character, it's because of the civil war in China, etc. All the men, etc., went to fight in the armies, and the lords had to still have bodyguard, etc. So they trained their own bodyguard through the people that were left. And so the Nuxia, that were maybe dancers, etc., became those deadly fighters that had to protect their master. And that's the core of that character. She used to be a dancer, but a really deadly dancer. And so you would not necessarily notice that she's protecting her master, but she's always there around, and she would kill anybody. So that's the concept of the character. No, she's going to the battlefield. She has those really good-looking armors and those hook blade, and her playstyle. So she's an assassin. She can't hold her guard, but it's all about fast attacks. And she's trying to bait you in order to block your attack, her attack, sorry. Because if you try to block her attack, she can actually grab your weapon and from here start some combos and deal damage to you. So the way to defend against that character, you might want to dodge, you might want to try to attack into her attack, etc. She's really deadly.
So let's speak about the final archetype that we have not mentioned yet. What can we expect there?
So the Shaolin monk, It's one of our most technical character in terms of play style and skills so far. It's an assassin character, he's fighting with a staff, and he has a specific mechanic where after each attack, he can actually maintain the end of the move as a chi stance. And from here, he can either continue his normal chain or mix up into specific moves like kicks, takedown moves, or more powerful unblockable attack. So he's really always trying to bait you to do the wrong thing. Like, oh, I'm going to attack you, and no, I'm going to cancel and do something else. Or, oh, no, I'm going to do a specific chain or combo and stuff. It's a really strong character.
What excites you most about the future of For Honor? Do you see a future where someday we have a For Honor 2, or are you going to keep supporting this game as long as you possibly can?
I think the last year demonstrate that we're here to stay, and we're going to support that game and continue to improve it, add new content, making it even better, and we're here for the long run.
That's fantastic. I mean, Ubisoft does a fantastic job with Siege, all these games with their post-launch content. What have you learned in the process? What have been some of the biggest lessons supporting For Honor in a post-launch capacity?
There has been a ton of lessons, but one of the main lessons that we learned the hard way is how to actually work with the community. And it's not just, oh yeah, so we're gonna do that, and we let you see what we're doing when we're ready to do it. No, it doesn't work like that anymore. No, we need to have a real discussion with the player on what do they think with the game, with the current state of the game, what are the priority, how do they see the game evolving, and work with them into this direction. And that has been a really strong learning for me. So that's why, for example, we have our own Twitch show every week, every Thursday at noon East, where we answer live any question that is posted in the chat, etc. We expose what our roadmaps, what feature we're currently developing, etc. Because we want to have that discussion with the players.
All right, that is fantastic. Thank you so much for giving us a look at where For Honor is going. Very exciting to talk to you. Very exciting to play that game.